Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, I'm going to go over a story titled, I Left My Wife and It Took Her Over a Week to Notice. And a shout out to Nishad for sending me this story. And guys, this story is about a guy. He is presently 35, and he's sharing the story about events that led to him eventually leaving his wife when he was 30 years old. You're going to see that when he met her, she was the popular girl, if you will, in college, and he was a self-described nerd. He comes from money, and nothing. He'd never have to work, but he still wanted to go to school and have his own career, which is great. And this guy, she was his first girlfriend, first you know what, and married her right out of college was a terrible decision. And from the get-go, once the ring was on her finger, she started distancing herself more and more from him to the point they were just roommates. No sex, nothing. She lost her job and became a wife that just did lunches and spas and trips with her friends and didn't do anything about it. And he showed extreme weakness with her. And no surprise, it got worse and worse and worse. And you're going to see he had a life-changing moment in his life, an epiphany that made him realize this is complete crap. My marriage is crap. And crafted a plan to take off and leave her. And it just goes to show you, a guy can make mistake after mistake after mistake, but eventually finally have enough's enough, and he can find his man card and get shit turned around. And justice is served, and let me tell you, justice is served. There's a lot of good lessons in this story you're going to see. It says, I'm new to Reddit, so I hope I'm doing this right. I, a 35-year-old male, was married to my wife, a 35-year-old female, for 8 years. Okay, so they got married when they were like 27 years old. I left her 5 years ago. We were child-free by choice, her choice. I had always said that we had a good relationship and marriage, but looking back, I see that it was just good for her. Yeah, exactly. Here's my story. I've always been the nerdy type. Smart, good grades, but never popular. I'm from a very well-off family due to my grandparents' inheritance and some smart investments my parents did. I did not have to go to college or work and still have a comfortable life, but I loved what I did, so I went. Well, good for him. He could have lived off the inheritance his whole life and done nothing, but he wanted to do something for himself. I met my wife in the first year of college. She was in my class and was looking for a tutor. She was a scholarship kid. We spent more and more time together, but never on the weekend. I wasn't the outgoing type, and she would always go out on the weekend. After a while, we started going on dates, and after I graduated, we got married. Smack! Way too soon. So, this sounds like this is his first serious girlfriend, first lay, the whole thing. Here come the sirens again. I can't escape these people. And just too much too soon. And it would have said he was the nerdy type, and she obviously was not the outgoing one. And on weekends, she's out doing Lord knows what. What do you think she's going to... This guy's got money, family money. Of course she's choosing him, right? Had her fun on the side, but now she's marrying him. This is sadly how these things go, guys. That's why you got to be very careful who you get involved with. Looking back, she started making decisions for us as soon as we got together. Smack! Not that I'm surprised, but that's a terrible way to go. Either you make decisions together, and I really do mean together, or the guy's the leader. Well, the guy should always be the leader, but either you're making decisions together, you communicate, or you're making the decisions. That's the best way to go. If she is making all the freaking decisions and the leader in the marriage, this ain't good. My wife worked the first half of our marriage, and when her company downsized, she got laid off. She became a stay-at-home wife who was not at home that much. So what stay-at-home activities was she doing? If she's not home that much, I'm assuming no cooking, cleaning, and all that. She had friends that she took trips with, had a lot of lunches and dinners with her friends. Basically spent my money on her well-off lifestyle. So she's one of those, huh? Yeah, that's her being a stay-at-home wife. Lunches and vacations and all that without you. What do you think she's doing during all that time? Or who is she doing? Well, I remember our love life being passionate in the beginning. It's just that a memory. You mean when you first got together, there was hooking up all the time, and the second you got married and she got used to the lifestyle, it came to a screeching halt? No. When I was 29, I was involved in a car crash. They say a drunk driver totaled my car, but I still have no memory of that day. I was in a coma for 2 weeks. After waking up, I had to learn to do a lot of things over again. After 4 months, I went back to work. Holy crap. When I came back home, my wife put me in the spare room. She said it had been like that for a while because I was snoring. I kept my mouth shut, but I knew this was new. Smack! If you don't want to be in a spare room, don't be in a spare room. Dude, you call the shots. It's your house. You make all the fucking money. You're not going in the spare room unless you want to go in the spare room. It doesn't sound like she's very supportive to me. I half wonder if she was probably wishing that he died in the accident. She'd get everything. The accident somehow gave me a clarity of mind. I could see that the marriage has been over for a while, but I still wanted to see if I could save it. Everything I tried failed. Right. She married you because she obviously knew you came from money. Obviously, it came out, worked for a while, got laid off, and has been enjoying the good life. I'm convinced she was probably regretting he didn't die in the freaking accident. It sounds horrible, but it happened. What sealed the deal for me was my 30th birthday. I came home and she was not home. She was having a spa day with her friends. I ordered takeout, watched the movie, and made a decision. I wanted out. The next morning, I went to the lawyer to start drafting divorce papers. I stopped engaging with her unless absolutely necessary. It's his 30th birthday and she's not even home. Her spa day. She couldn't throw him get him a cake, a card, out to dinner. Why? Because she doesn't give a shit. She's using this guy. But you know what? It's also on him because he allowed this. She got laid off. Gee, guess what? You can get another fucking job. He allowed it. And unless he's one of these guys that felt good, like I'm taking care of my woman, he allowed her to quit. He allowed her to spend all her time lunches and spa days and going on vacations and all that. He should have been laying down the law. But this guy obviously thought he got a prize initially, but instead of getting a prize, he got a surprise at how she's treating him. Women don't respect weakness. A lot of things this guy could have done differently in this whole situation that wouldn't cause these problems. But he's learning. We're here to learn too. Slowly but surely, I started selling anything that had any emotional value to me. I left all her stuff for her. I bought a new car and left it at a parking garage not so far from home. Okay, so she wouldn't know. 1 month later, all I had left were my clothes and a couple of laptops, a projector, and a portable screen. Everything I needed to work from the road. I did not quit my job. I arranged for it to be completely remote. 2 months after my birthday, I stayed while my wife was out with another lunch with her girls. Which you're paying for, jackass. I took the new car, packed everything I needed in it, left the divorce papers and a letter on my bed in the spare bedroom, and closed the door to my house for the last time, wondering how long it would take for her to notice. Anyway, well, if she's always out with Lord knows who, and I guarantee it ain't her girls, or on spa days, or on vacations and trips, well, sooner or later she'll come home and notice. Probably she'll also notice when the deposits in the bank account stop showing up. I decided to drive across country and visit every place I wanted to go, but couldn't because my wife didn't want to. Because you allowed that. I don't want to hear this because she didn't want to. She's doing everything she wants to. We had a prenup, so she had no rights to ask for anything. And the letter explained, and I told her I was leaving, and I would leave her the house and the car, and would pay a sum every month for exactly 1 year after that, and then she was on her own. In my own stupidity, I forgot to mention why I was leaving. This would work out in my favor. 10 days after I left, I got a text from my wife asking me where I was, and if this was a joke. 10 days he was gone. It took for her to fucking notice. She called me, but I didn't pick up. I never pick up the phone while I'm driving. And an automated text send that said, I'm driving and we'll call back later. She then sent me a text after text after text. That night, I stopped in a motel and decided to read the text before calling her back. First, she was asking if this was a joke. Then asking me when I will come back. More like, when will the next deposits in my account show up? Then begging me to come back, not knowing why I left, and then she says something. She was so sorry and didn't mean anything, and she will cut him off. Cut him off? She was having an affair, something I never suspected. Smack! How could you not suspect that? You're not getting any. She's never with you, treats you like a fucking roommate, like you're her freaking ATM, and you didn't think she had an affair? Our poor guy. This is why you don't marry the first girl that's your girlfriend. In a perfect world you could do, but you have to have some experience, and amongst many other things. I called her cell phone and she was at her parents' house. I learned this tactic from television. She started yelling at me and I hung up. Why is she yelling at him? She's having an affair amongst many other things and she's yelling at him. But this goes to show you she has no respect for him. Sees him as a weak bitch. I hung up, I waited for 1 minute and called back. She started yelling again, and I hung up again. I waited 2 minutes and called back then. This time she wasn't yelling and I started talking. Good tactic. Remember that, guys. This is a good one. I'm going to jot this one down. I told her that she was going to let me talk first, and after I said what I need to say, then she could ask any questions. I told her why I left. We were married but living as roommates. Not even roommates because they at least acknowledge each other. I don't remember the last time we had a conversation. The last time we did something together, and I didn't remember the last time we had SEX, but I know it was before the accident. Yeah, all this BS was going on before the accident. I guarantee you she was probably like, when she found out he was in the accident, was thinking, maybe he'll die and I'll get everything. It's horrible, but, I told her that for a month before leaving, I stopped talking and sold everything I had in the house, and she didn't even notice. That it took her 10 days after I left before she noticed I was gone. If she had called me on that day I left, I would have turned around immediately, and I ended with, thank you for admitting to the affair. I really didn't know about that. So this guy really, really handled so many things wrong. But it goes to show you guys, we can make mistakes and turn things around and handle things right. And I like how he's handling things now. But God almighty, so much of this could have been prevented if this guy had a spine and laid down the law with her. She tried to apologize. Yeah, thinking that's going to change things. And when she asked me to come back, I asked her why. If she could explain to me why I would consider it. What was in it for me? What would change? She could not answer. So I said goodbye and told her that my lawyer knows how to contact her. Then I blocked her. The next day, I bought a new phone with a new number and left the old one in the motel. Good for you, bro. See, guys, you can act like a bitch so long, and you act like a bitch, you get treated like a bitch. But one day you can have an epiphany and say, I'm not going to do this shit I'm not going to take it anymore. Like the We're Not Going to Take It song. And turn things around. 2 weeks later, I got an email from my lawyer that the divorce papers were signed. Hey, I was free. I kept my word. My lawyer already had all the documents signed by me that would transfer ownership of the house and the cars to her. The bank automatically deposits a fixed amount to a shared account each month for a year. So I know what a lot of you are thinking. Hey, what a great deal for her. She got the freaking house and cars. He didn't say car, he said cars, plural, and a year of payments. But to him, obviously, the guy does well and comes from money. And he's like, you know what? This is worth it to get rid of her and start over. Fast forward in time, he says, where we are now. For the past 5 years, I've been driving across the country working remotely. I finally had a reason to start social media. I posted online where I've been and where I'm going. I stay in a place for a couple weeks and drive to the next one. Well, on the one hand, that sounds awesome. Travel in the whole country, seeing everything, being on the road and adventure, that sounds badass. On the other hand, I do need to have a place that I call home. That would get old for me after a while. But if he's happy, great. My ex-wife started following me on Instagram a year after I left, and out of curiosity, I looked at her public post. She's actually following him, thinking this is the same guy and I can get him back. I'm not planning on following her back. She posted pictures with her boyfriend soon after I left. To her credit, she did not badmouth me, at least not on Instagram. 2 months after I left, they apparently broke up. That was the last time I really had an update from her. Of course they broke up, because the affair is over. I mean, her sneaking around is over. That thrill is gone. And what do you bet that they broke up after his 1 year of payments to her stopped? Right? That guy stopped benefiting from this guy. He says, I also now have a sex life. Hey, you earned it. Be careful. Once I put myself out there, it turned out to be easier to have casual SEX. No commitment relationship. How about that? not interested in anything serious, probably makes it clear, and he has no problem. Now, after years, I'm going back to my hometown. There is a reunion I want to attend. I'm staying for a month, maybe 2, and then I'm going back to Canada. I have no plans of looking up my ex, but I will also not actively avoid her. If I see her, I'll see her. If I don't, I don't. So that wraps up his story here, and it's very unfortunate. And like I said, lots of lessons here. Don't rush into relationships. You got to check your girl. Yeah, when women lose respect for you, that's it. All these things this guy did wrong that you guys hopefully learn not to do if you are into relationships. But also shows you can make a comeback and get your shit together. But I would not be surprised if sooner or later she doesn't reach out to him. She's 35 years old. Her prime is long gone. Because her perception of him is, oh, he's still the same old guy. And I hope he, like hell, if he runs into her, he learns his lot. I'm guessing he will, but I still have to say it. So guys, lots of ones and outs. Some comments real quick to wrap it up. One guy says here, good story. You realized something was wrong and decided to leave your wife. That was smart. But I think that before the accident, she had her adventures. After the accident, when she decided to have you move into the guest room, she didn't want to be unfaithful to her lover with you. Anyway, another one. Your ex was a forbidden fruit. Once she was divorced, the thrill was gone and the relationship died. Good for you for going on an adventure of a lifetime. You deserve it after what you went through. Enjoy your reunion and beware of exes wanting to reconcile. Yes, be very careful. Another one. I'm sorry you were used so badly and you have such a heart-rending experience. I congratulate you on your clarity of mind after being in a coma. To understand what was okay and what was not okay to turn everything around. I think you decided to be decent, but not cut her slack. You were so crystal clear with her, telling her that if she called you on the day you left, and I'm assuming said things that were sincere, you would have turned around. I think what you did was you crafted a remarkable experience both for yourself and her. And now she made her bed and she's going to lie in it. Well, she was lying in a lot of other beds. And you're having the adventure in your life. I'm just really happy for you. Sometimes there's a happy ending. I would say it's a happy-ish ending. It would have been better if, he never got involved with her and her take advantage of him. But if it took all that for him to learn reality, then I guess it's worth it because he's 35. Well, he was 30 at the time when he left, So his whole life ahead of him, does well with his own job, his own career. I respect that he comes from a family of money. Probably never had to work a day in his life, but did anyway. Good for him. Instead of sitting on his ass and, And he learned at 30 years old reality. And obviously now he's a guy that can have hookups and all that. Just, for God's sakes, wear protection and be careful and provide your protection. And he's all the wiser. But a lot of lessons in this story, guys, that we can all learn from. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And, guys, you found a good story, definitely email it to me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.